Hey, this is Gina Grad.
Hi, this is Teresa Strasser.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike Errico.
Hey there. This is Casey Cavalier.
I'm Rocky Rose.
And you are listening to The Jay Franzi Show.
Lucky you.
Welcome to The Jay Franzi Show. A behind-the-curtain look at the entertainment industry with insights you can't pay for and stories you've never heard. Now, here's your host, Jay Franzi.
And we are coming at you live. I am Jay Franzi, and with me tonight is the Juliet to my Romeo, my beautiful co-host, Miss Tiffany Mason.
Romeo, you have a little bit of a stutter tonight.
I just want to make sure we start off on the right foot, and I don't get yelled at.
With, not joining me, but with.
You got it. See, I pay attention. I pay attention.
I guess
If you are new to the show, this is your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews. And if you would like to join in, comment, or fire off any questions, please head over to jfranzi.com. You can even join us live here on the show if you go to jfranzi.com/live and press the big old button that says join us live. Just be prepared. If you press it, you're joining us live.
Woohoo!
Well, let me start off by telling us the question of the day. Question of the day today is, what was your first concert? What was your first concert? Don't tell me now. We will discuss this later. So if you would like to join in and send us some of your first concerts, just go ahead over to the comment section, type away. All right, my friend. June is coming up, and we're going to have some new birthdays coming up in the month of June, and I wanted to talk about them a little bit. But first, you took your glasses off.
Yeah.
Just noticing. Just want to say I do notice these things.
Thanks for calling me out.
Why is that calling you out? Wow. See?
Because I want to come off as young, like I don't need them.
You are young. You are so young.
Thank you.
You are not experiencing a June birthday?
I am not. I got 6 months still.
So you're with me then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Si, senor.
Let's start off with Ronnie Dunn. Ronnie Dunn of the band Brooks and Dunn, born on June 1st, 1953.
Let me throw in a birthday that you're not expecting. June 2nd, the man who made me. Mr. State. That's my maiden name, State. Dennis State. June 2nd.
State.
Yeah. It's so weird. I met Shaw when I was so young. I've been Mason longer than I've been State.
Nice. Yeah, you get married at 12? That's kind of odd these days. Arranged marriages and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right. Well, Ronnie Dunn, June 1st, 1953. I hate to say it, but he seems older than that.
You think he seems older?
Yeah, because 1953 is not that far from me.
That just puts him in his 60s, right?
Seems older than that to me. Sorry, Ronnie. Let me move on. Lee Bryce. Lee Bryce. Had a chance to work with Lee. He was a nice guy. Born June 10th, 1979.
Ooh, that was a good year.
And now, it's sad to say, but I would think Lee Bryce was older than that. So I'm just all jacked up tonight.
I would think he was older too.
And plus, judging by his photos, he's coming here to town, and he may have just been here last week, I think. But either way, here in town, and his photo for the event, he just looked like he was older.
He's coming to Jacksonville.
He's a good artist. He was a writer for Garth Brooks and a few others before he actually went on to be a solo artist.
I'm going to look at images. I'm going to see if I think he looks older than me or not.
I Drive Your Truck.
Oh, I love that song. I
It
love
is a
that
great
song. I love that song. He looks like the same age as me. Knock it off.
Okay, if you say so. Next is Chris Young. Chris Young.
I like Chris Young.
He recorded the same studio, but I never got to work with him. But he's born June 12th, 1985. He was on the TV show Nashville Star. You remember that show by any chance?
Yes. Yes.
It was filmed at the Wild Horse Saloon in Nashville.
Okay. I know you just said his name, but tell me the name you just said again.
Chris Young.
Yeah.
It's too early in the evening to fire you.
No, I've got a song by him that is getting in my way. And it might not be by him, but I thought it was. Oh, he sings Lonely Eyes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of another one, but anyways, okay.
Yeah, Chris Young, June 12th, 1985. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see the Wild Horse Saloon, but it's a really cool venue. It's multiple levels, and you can look down at the stage.
It's not where they do the line dancing, is it?
Oh, yeah.
At the end of Broadway?
It's not on Broadway. It's down towards the bottom of Broadway, and it's where Second crosses Broadway.
Yes. Like, basically, if you looked at the back of it, you'd look at the stadium?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was in there, and I did line dancing. Is there a horse statue at the bar?
Yeah. There's hundreds of them.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's where I was. Yeah.
Yeah, and they used to film Crook and Chase at that bar as well. I mean, another news-related country show. All right.
Very cool.
Well, there you go. Waylon Jennings, June 15th, 1937. Now, see, that seems right to me.
Finally one you can agree on.
Well, Chris Young, I never would have expected him to be that young.
Well, it's in his name.
I knew you would go there, but that seems odd. All right, moving on. Blake Shelton, born the year of my wife, June 18th, 1976.
I don't think your wife wants you telling that.
Well, she's old.
Yay, George is in the house. Welcome, George.
George is in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
But yes, Blake Shelton, born June 18th, 1976. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was on a TV show as well. TV show The Voice.
This is The Voice.
No, you didn't know that? Kathy Mattea, June 21st, 1959. 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses.
18 wheels and a dozen roses. I knew all the trucker songs because my dad, he was a semi driver.
He was a truck driver.
He was not over the road, though.
Across the state.
Right. He just did across the state. He did not go across the country.
Mr. State.
He was home
That's
every
why
day.
they called him Mr. State.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he did go across Iowa State a lot, but he didn't really go into other states. Sometimes they would ask him to, but it was for more pay.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Gretchen Wilson, June 26, 1973.
Ooh, she rowdy.
She's a redneck woman.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get a chance to work with her, but I did go in the studio to set up the day after she was in the studio. And her room was still set up. It still had the area rug down on the floor. It had a floor lamp and candles and smelled heavily of marijuana.
Okay, good. So, you know what I've learned about rednecks? It doesn't mean that they're train wrecks.
Nice. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. We'll get back to that a little later in the show. I like that. I like it. That was good. All right.
Thank you. That was my favorite from that I wrote down.
Nice. Kelly Pickler. She is also
from
a television show called American Idol.
Yes,
a lot of contestants on this
Pickler.
list. Yes. She was married to a friend of mine, and unfortunately that friend of mine has passed away.
Oh, no.
He was also, if you want to tie this in, the producer and songwriter for Lee Bryce.
Oh, how about that?
So, yes. Very sad. Kyle Jacobs.
Is very sad.
Kyle Jacobs, you are missed. Cole Swindell, June 30th, 1983. June 30th, my grandfather's birthday.
Ah.
You know, if my grandfather was still here. You Should Be Here. There you go. That's one of his songs. My grandfather should be here. Michael Anthony, June 20th, 1954. Bass player for Van Halen.
Okay.
He has one of the most unique voices when it comes to harmony singing. I know we talk about unique voices a lot, but as far as harmonies go, Van Halen's harmonies would not be what they are without Michael Anthony. Definitely has a very, very unique voice when it comes to that. Joey Kramer, June 21st, 1950, drummer of Aerosmith. I know you like you some Aerosmith.
I do.
Joey Kramer's the one who stuck his clothes hanger in my...
Oh, yeah. I think it was your belt.
Belt?
Loop.
Either way, it was on the back. It was backside. He was
okay, I think we're stretching it a little bit here.
He was eyeing my backside is what I'm saying. Oh, Robbie Merle. He is the bassist for Godsmack. Godsmack, Boston band. June 13th, 1963. Not bad. He's 6 years older than me. 6.5. Ray Loser. I don't know if it's pronounced loser. Luzier. Luzier. Ray Luzier, I'm going to assume. Drummer for Korn. He was born June 14th, 1970, but also on June 19th, 1970 was Brian, why he has the nickname of Head, I don't know, but Brian Head Walsh. He's also the guitarist for Korn. So Korn has 2 members with birthdays.
It's interesting. I feel like it's important to get that K on there. Korn.
Korn. Not porn, but corn. Tom Maxwell. Let's end with Tom Maxwell.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Also, Parker's girlfriend, Mina's birthday. Not a celebrity, but we need to throw family in there. If there's
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Maxwell, June 25th, 1968. He plays guitar for the band Hell Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
It's a good band name. Well, I'm going to start off with Billy Joel. He has canceled all upcoming tour dates after being diagnosed with normal pressure hydrocephalus, NPH,
Good for
a brain disorder that affects hearing, vision, balance, and cognitive function. I would assume so. I mean, if it's in your brain, that makes sense.
It does. It's very, very sad. You know, he sold over 150 million records.
Dang.
That is one of the most talented musicians ever. I remember watching a documentary about him, and they were talking about him. He grew up in a poor family house in New York, and his piano had keys on it that had cigarette burns, and some keys didn't work. And they said, well, he plays around them. And they said, well, he just basically plays the piano and just hits dead keys. But no, he literally played around those keys. So if he wanted to make a chord, he would just find a new way of making that chord. And he played around the broken keys. So he's very, very talented. And I mean, his songwriting is amazing. So it's very sad.
I think we've talked before, like they're people. At the end of the day, they're people. They're humans.
That's true.
They too are having a human experience, which may include HPN.
As long as it's not HPV.
Well, somebody who's lucky they didn't get HPV is Freddie Mercury.
You don't know that for sure.
It's true. I don't know that to be factual, but I'm going to spread it as a rumor that he never had it. But he did have a secret daughter. And so there is a new biography claiming that he had a love child accidentally in 1976. And there is a book out about it right now. Love Freddie, Freddie Mercury's Secret Life and Love. And it will be released on September 5th. And it is available for pre-order now. So get your copies.
So when you say accident, does that mean he tripped and fell in?
Yes.
Okay. I always wondered how that worked.
Yeah. It's an accident.
I mean, let's assume that all of this is true. It's going to be hard on the daughter. I'm sure she's got a spotlight on her that she didn't ask for now.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast today. I feel like that's how all my stories start. And somebody was born out of wedlock and the illegitimate box was checked, right? And then they were talking about how that affected their life and how they thought that they were like not worthy of all these things. And so maybe she felt like that, like that she was an accident. And, I mean, it plays with people different ways in their brains.
Well, I'm sure with the spotlight on her and people saying it was an accident and all that stuff is not helping her either.
Well, and probably also knowing his sexual orientation is maybe confusing as well. So, all the above, not exciting maybe for this secret daughter.
Well, as a father of daughters, I would hate to think of my daughter having to go through such emotions, I guess.
Such scrutiny. Well, somebody who is not going under scrutiny is Iron Maiden.
Are they not?
Well,
I mean, I'm sure you
maybe
could say
they are. Maybe they are. Yeah, maybe they are. Okay, so I was thinking that they're on tour, but really the story is that they have made some major changes in their personnel and stage production. So the tour kicked off. They hadn't played live in more than over a decade, and now something has happened that they have made major changes in their stage.
It's called age. Age has happened. Their band members are too old to keep performing.
Yeah, well,
no. And not only that, but I'm sure, I mean, I know they're doing well, and they still pull in quite a crowd, but they're not doing the size of the shows they used to. I know when we talked about them in the past, we talked about Eddie, that giant creature that would be on the back of the stage.
Yeah.
They're not bringing in all those different sets anymore. They're not doing all that. I mean, those sets require big arenas, so unless they're playing these big arenas, they can't even fit those things in there.
Right. Yeah. So, and then they said it also marked the debut of drummer Simon Dawson, who replaced Nico McBrain after the elder musician announced his retirement from touring in December. So,
did you say Nico McBrain?
Nico McBrain. I'm just reading what's written.
I do not know what's written, so, but someone with the last name of Brain? I don't know.
McBrain.
Like
is a kid who grew up in the 90s and went to the McDonald's a bunch, and now they have a McBrain.
Oh, that's sad.
That's probably what's wrong with my memory is I probably have a McBrain.
You have a McBrain.
We used to go camping every weekend, and on our way out of town, we'd always hit McDonald's.
There you go.
I got a McBrain.
I eat at McDonald's almost every day because of my daughter.
Oh, really?
She got me hooked on that app, and now that app it gamifies everything I do, and I just can't help but log in there and see what kind of things I can do to get more free food or whatever.
There's a sucker in every bunch. Well, I was thinking about it today with...
It's sludge. There's sludge in there.
I was thinking about it today. We use that Get Upside app. My husband and I do. Yeah, and I think between the two of us right now, we have like $100 in our accounts. But I was thinking that we can go to another warehouse store that's kind of like Costco, but they have cheaper gas too. And I'm thinking like, even after the upside discount, I think that they are still cheaper. So I'm like, that's kind of stupid using the app and getting the points or whatever, when really we could just go save money and not use the app at all. Like just forego the hassle of, it's not really that much hassle, but the 2 clicks that it takes, we could just get cheaper gas overall. So we might be playing a foolish game.
Well, it's good if you have a place next to you like that. For me, I'm always on the road, so always finding a place that's on the road is pretty helpful.
You know what is stupid about it is close to us, but it's one of those that it's like easy to get into and hard to get out of. So it just deters you from going just because you know.
That's how I get stuck with the wife.
I like what you did there. Okay. Well, we got Guns N' Roses. They are playing a cover song live for the first time last night, May 27th, during their show in Abu Dhabi. That's what I thought it was. And then the H threw me off. Abu Dhabi. And it sounded a bit different than their original rendition of it in a good way. The Rockers recorded the studio version because it couldn't have been the live version, but they were doing it live, of the New York Dolls song Human Being, which appeared on their covers album called The Spaghetti Incident, while most of the songs on the album were originally recorded by punk artists. The New York Dolls and singer-guitarist Johnny Thunders were especially influential for Duff McKagan.
I don't know if you had a chance to see any of the highlights from this tour that they're on, but I saw the highlights of one of the songs. It was absolutely horrible. I mean, horrible.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm glad they're out there doing it, and I would like to see them, but the vocal that I saw, the highlight, was just bad. It was very, very bad.
Okay, question for you. You know, sometimes you see people on TV and you're like, holy crap, that does not sound like them. Is it that they're having a bad night, or is it that somebody, like the engineer, isn't mixing it for TV or isn't mixing it for the arena that they're in or whatever? Like, sometimes it kind of blows my mind. Like, maybe I see Taylor Swift and I'm like, no, she's always on point. But that performance, you know, you're just like, it sounds not good. So
Taylor Swift,
what would you
is
attribute
one
it to?
that she definitely sings on the money all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Axl Rose, I mean, he's always been an amazing singer. I'm sure he's just old and out of breath, and he's running around the stage, and he's just not able to hold the notes like he used to, and he's not hitting the notes like he used to.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, when Carrie Underwood stepped in and sang for Guns N' Roses for a bit, and she nailed it. I mean, she really did a great job. But I think that's a young person's game. Those songs are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a range.
A lot of lung
He
capacity.
does a lot of low stuff and just goes right into high stuff. And I think the high stuff is, I think he's kicking himself for writing songs that are so high at this point. No matter how he does, he's better than me. So nothing against him.
Said it was a little different than the original rendition, but it was in a good way. So
yeah, this rendition that he did in a lower register. So he didn't have to hit those high notes like he did on the other song. And of course, the highlight that you see in the news is just the high notes, just what he was probably hitting wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure the whole night long he was probably doing great, but one moment where he's trying to hit the high note and failed.
Just pull the one segment.
That's the one that everybody wants to highlight. That's great.
Jerks.
Trust me, I'm sure they're doing that on purpose for sure.
Yeah. Don't tarnish our Guns N' Roses, dang it. Well, Godsmack is in the news.
Godsmack. Where are they from? Boston.
Oh, shoot, you told me that.
Sorry,
because
Sully.
he feeds me the answers, then I can't remember any of them.
Can't even help you cheat on a test.
Sorry. So the legendary rock alternative metal band Godsmack recently finished their 2025 live track across the world. And according to the frontman, Sully Erna, who is not having a birthday, the group will now be taking a full year off. Who is in their group that is having the birthday?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look now. I don't know.
Okay.
Was it the guitar player? I don't know. But either way, Godsmack is a great band. I like them a lot. They are a very, very good representation of what Boston rock bands were like when I moved out. So, I mean, there was bands like Angry Hill, which is a regional band that never had that major record deal, but they had that same Godsmack sound to them. That was just a very, very good sound coming out of Boston at that time.
Okay. Well,
It's
I'll
hard
have to
rock.
check them out. I don't really honestly know their music. So I apologize, but
You might know some
homework.
of their songs. Maybe,
Okay.
possibly. Might be a recommendation in the future. Do we have a question of the day? We do. We have a question of the day. What was your first concert? What was your first concert?
What was your first concert?
All right.
George already weighed in.
George doesn't count. George wasn't here last week. He got fired. I don't even know why he came back to work.
Yeah.
You have to earn your way back in, George. Earn your way back in. All right.
Jay's tough.
My first concert. Now, I say it was the band Journey because it was the band Journey. Journey was the first concert I went to. But Billy Squire was the opening act. So who was really the first concert? Was it Billy Squire or was it Journey?
It was Journey.
Okay,
It was the headliner.
So Journey was the show I went to. Billy Squire was the opening act. It was when Billy Squire had just put out the song Stroke. So,
okay.
He was having a very good year. He did a very good show. And then Journey, of course, was awesome. That was the Escape tour. My favorite album, my favorite tour.
And how old were you?
I don't know. It was 1983. Can you do math?
When were you born? 60?
69. 70, 13, 14 years. I was 14
was the
years old.
summer of 69.
My dad took me to the show. And
Oh, nice.
we sat maybe 9 rows center from the stage. And
Oh, cool.
smoked an awful lot of pot that night. Now,
With your dad?
we did not smoke pot, but everybody else around us did, so we may as well have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was my first time really smelling pot.
Yeah. Yeah, Hannah's completely grossed out whenever she smells it. Because she knows what it is now. And, I live in Florida, so it's pretty prevalent.
We went out for dinner last night, me and Bella, my eldest daughter, and we could smell it as we were walking in this. I said something to her, and I don't even think she even flinched. But,
Yeah.
what was your first concert? Oh, wait. Boston Garden, by the way. That's very important to note. Journey at the Boston Garden. Because the Boston Garden, even though it still kind of exists, the original Boston Garden does not.
Yeah.
They built up one right next to it and tore the original down.
Oh.
So this was at the original.
Wow. Well, I don't know what the venue was, but I went to Michael W. Smith, which is a Christian artist.
I just want to press it so bad.
You can't fire me for going to a Christian concert. But the next one I went to was Aerosmith. But I didn't go to a lot of concerts. We didn't have disposable income. And in Des Moines, Iowa, it's not really the up and coming scene
big
for
venue.
rock artists.
They don't put that on their tour schedule.
No, and honestly, if I would have went to one, it probably would have been New Kids on the Block or something like that.
Fellow Bostonians.
Oh yeah? Damn, everything comes out of Boston.
All the good things.
All the good things.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, well, I knew when the question was posted, I was like, no.
There you go. All right, George, we're going
Not
to let
gonna
you get
go
away
well.
with this here, buddy. His first band was The Who. First concert was The Who. Says, I need a glass of water. Nice. Sorry. That doesn't get you.
I have water and Jay still fires me, so.
There you go. All right, George. Very good. The Who it is. Amanda, this is as bad as Tiffany's. She says Backstreet Boys.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
All right. Valerie for the win. George's wife, Valerie, says Ozzy Osbourne.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, and my parents were big into country music, so I wasn't going to go to any cool rock concert anyway.
When I was a kid, it was when he bit the head off the bat. So that was the time. It was all in the paper. He was being banned from Boston. It was a big deal.
Yeah. It made headlines all the way to Iowa.
Jason says Garth Brooks. There's a good show. I mean, you go to see a Garth Brooks concert, and you're probably not the same anymore, and it's going to be hard to beat that.
Yeah, agreed.
Another one hard to beat, Brianna says Taylor Swift.
Mm.
Now, Connor says this, but I don't know if he's just sucking up. But he says...
Journey.
He says, I want to get on Tiffany's good side, Metallica.
That's pretty sweet.
Different Valerie says Elton John.
I got to see Elton John in person
At CVS.
as a benefit of a thing that I was doing. And just the power of his voice was impressive. I don't know. I was pretty impressed. And all he was doing was sitting at the piano playing.
Is that it? Is that all he was doing?
Mm-hmm.
He is
I mean, like,
talented.
there wasn't like some big performance or, costume changes or anything like that. And it was pretty impressive still.
Haley says Britney Spears.
That would have been a good one.
All right, let's see. Greg says Pink Floyd. There you go.
Ooh.
Travis says Kiss. I saw Kiss. Kiss was a good show. Now, I saw them later beyond makeup, but they were still very good. Put on a good show. Lisa says Shania Twain. I'm good with Shania Twain. Dan says the Rolling Stones.
Dang.
Stephanie says Reba.
Ooh, that would have been good.
I don't even want to mention that. Claire says the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, Claire.
Come on, Claire. He said what was
I
the
only
first concert
did mine
you
because
went
I'm
to?
a co-host. She didn't have to admit that.
What was the first concert you went to? That doesn't count. That's not even a concert. Oh, another one for you. Michelle says Tiffany likes Fleetwood Mac. That was the first one I got to see.
Yes, very cool. I'd love to see them.
Brian says Kenny Chesney. Richard says the Eagles. Emily says Carrie Underwood. My daughter went to see Carrie Underwood.
I've seen her a couple times.
My daughter and a friend of hers went to Vegas without us to see Carrie Underwood.
Oh, right. Right.
Me, the father of the year. Good or bad, you can take that either way. Josh says Maroon 5.
Ooh, I'd like to see Maroon 5.
I mean, he seems like a nice guy, but you say eye candy.
He's pretty easy on the eyes.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
He's not my type.
No.
Carl says Def Leppard. They're not my type either. Def Leppard came out strong. I really liked them at the beginning, but not my favorite after they kind of jumped the shark a little bit.
Bad finish.
Well, we mentioned their drummer losing their arm, and they had to learn a new way of performing. They didn't want to lose the drummer, so he kind of adapted his drum kit. They put together this new thing so he can continue to play. And that's when Mutt Lange also was heavily involved with the band. And that created this very synthesized sound. So it went from a raw rock band to a very synthesized sound rock band. Like Pour Some Sugar on Me and stuff. I have nothing against them. I like the albums and stuff, but they weren't my favorite. I like their earlier stuff better.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, good call. Linkin Park. I got to see Linkin Park with Jenny.
Oh.
Not my Jenny. Another Jenny. Jenny was a student at the college that I used to teach at, and we went to see Linkin Park together.
Yeah. Nice.
Not a date, just friends.
Yeah.
Sex was good, though.
No.
Just kidding, Jenny. Just kidding. We did not have sex. Just in case she's listening or anybody else. Just throwing that out there. Moving on. Teresa says Hootie the Blowfish. Did you ever tell me what?
Oh, that's not a good follow-up.
Jenny and the Blowfish.
Oh my gosh.
No, sorry,
You're going to
Jenny.
have to edit some stuff out of this for the radio. Holy crap.
Teresa says Hootie and the Blowfish. I liked Hootie and the Blowfish.
I did not.
You did not like Hootie and the Blowfish?
I like them, but it annoyed the crap out of me, their lack of enunciation. I only want to be
Well, also, he sings flat.
Oh.
Like consistently flat.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's hitting the notes that he's intending to hit. It's just flatter than normal. I got to see him in Nashville. He played at the Grammy party that we went to. Darius Rucker did, not Hootie and the Blowfish.
I was going to say we had Darius Rucker come perform for our company for a conference. And it was a really good show. And it was in Hawaii, so it didn't hurt my feelings.
Nice.
But I feel like he enunciates more now, but he still could enunciate more. I'm really a big fan of enunciation.
Well, now he's in Nashville being produced by Nashville producers, and that's a big thing in Nashville for sure. Yes.
Speak clearly. You know why enunciation is so important, Jay? Because when I'm trying to figure out what the heck the story is, if I can't make out the words, I don't know what the story is. And then guess what? I don't want to listen to it.
Got to connect the dots.
I got to connect the dots. I am a little bit, stuck on that.
I'm stuck on you. Lionel Richie. I told you I went to see Lionel Richie by accident, didn't I?
Yes.
For those who don't know the story, I went to see the Nashville Predators. We were standing outside of the arena, in Nashville. We thought the Predators were playing, so we bought scalp tickets. We went in, and guess what? We were watching Lionel Richie. But it was still a good show. My wife likes Lionel Richie. It was good. Just not what we thought the plans were going to be.
You know who Lionel Richie reminds me of? Or really this person probably reminds me of Lionel Richie. But you know the rich boyfriend in Coming to America? Lisa's rich boyfriend? I guess he's not rich, but he wants to be part of the McDowell family. Right. That boyfriend, that's who he reminds me of.
Becky says Dolly Parton.
Oh.
I would like to see her play live. I get to work on her live project, but I did not get to see her perform live.
I think I would like to meet her, but I don't think I would like to see her perform.
Sorry, Dolly, if you would like to confront Tiffany on that, jfranzy.com/live.
Just hop on.
I'm going to start censoring. Olivia says Bruno Mars. Frank, how old are you, buddy? He says Johnny Cash. Frank, if that's your first concert, buddy, you're older than I am.
And he saw him at Folsom Prison.
I got to work on one of Johnny Cash's live shows too, but never got to meet him. Mm-hmm. Tara says Bon Jovi. I like Bon Jovi. They were one of my favorites until their later stuff as well. I feel like they kind of jumped the shark when John Bon Jovi went to Nashville and started writing with Nashville writers.
Yeah.
I thought the charm of Bon Jovi was when he was writing the songs by himself.
Yeah. Corporate people get their hands on it all and then change it up.
Debbie, my friend. Debbie says Journey. Debbie,
maybe you guys went to the same concert.
If you want to tell us where or what year, that would be helpful.
Jay wants to know if your seats were next to his.
Were you smoking pot? That's really what I want to know. Charlie says Tim McGraw.
Huh.
I've never seen Tim play live. I've worked with Tim, but I've never seen him play live. I'd be curious. Tim himself thinks he puts on a good show, but he's not a very good singer. I would like to know if that's true. Do you think he puts on a good show, Charlie?
And did Faith come out? Is it while they were married or dating? That would have been cool.
We have questions. Charlie.
Follow-up questions, please.
Please chime in. Nate says Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Ooh, that'd be a good concert.
Yeah.
I would want to go to any concert that has like upbeat or rowdy people.
Yeah, I think these days that's what I'm into.
Don't want to crowd surf.
No, why not?
You know what's funny? I heard someone who told me that they crowd surfed and they were actually bruised from it.
It wouldn't surprise me. A girl should never crowd surf. There's too many creeps out there for that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Paul says George Strait. No, that's a good one, but that is not a rowdy one.
It is not a rowdy one, but he looks good in those jeans.
All I can imagine is him standing center stage and never moving.
It's fine. I hope he turns around a couple times. All he needs to do is, move his hips back and forth a couple times. It's fine. He's good looking. Side to side.
Sure,
side to side.
Whatever you say.
Side to side.
Roger says James Taylor.
That would have been a good one. It would have been mellow, but good.
I used to date a girl, and she's out with James Taylor right now.
Oh, really?
She's the background vocalist and fiddle player for James Taylor right now.
Oh, how cool is that? I've been looking for one of his records, hoping to come buy one, but I've looked through a lot of record collections and not there.
Tyler says Eminem. You know what, Tyler? I'm not going to knock it. I would like to see him. Not my style of music typically, but there's a few people, and he's one of them that can pull it off in my mind.
I agree.
Melanie says Foo Fighters. Pre or post drummer. I forget the drummer's name. What was the drummer that passed away?
Don't look at me. I like that you actually depended on me, though.
I was hoping you would know one. I was hoping you'd pull me out of the trench.
I actually know.
You got Google.
Linkin Park drummer?
No, Linkin. Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters drummer.
Yes, I forget his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it, but I feel like if I say this name, it's wrong.
Okay, do you want the new drummer or the one that passed away?
The one that passed away.
Okay, who do you think it is?
No, we're not playing that game. Oh,
It's Taylor Hawkins.
Yes, I was trying to say Tyler. Taylor, that would have made much more sense. Taylor, he was an amazing drummer. Really, really good drummer. And his son stepped in and played drums during the tribute with Foo Fighters.
Oh, yeah, I think we covered that, right?
No, but
okay.
We should have if we didn't. Victoria says Alanis Morissette.
Ooh. Jagged Little Pill.
All right, I'm going to end on this one. Crystal, I'm going to need follow-up from you, though. She says Keith Urban. I would like to know when and where. Only because was it a show that I engineered, and I would like to know that.
You want to know if you were responsible for her listening pleasure?
I want to know if I was responsible for ruining the show for her. I didn't ruin a Keith Urban show. I ruined a Phil Vassar show. In his mind, anyway.
He told you that?
No, but he was very mad. He was very mad. He's a piano player, and he also is the lead vocalist, so he walks around stage. But when he sits at the piano, he's got a stand kind of like the boom arm that I have, and he puts his microphone in there. And then when he gets up and walks around, it's a wireless microphone. He takes it out and he walks. Well, the wireless microphone's thicker than a regular microphone, so it got stuck in the boom arm, and he couldn't get it out right away. So he's struggling to get it out of the stand and turned around and yelled at me like it was my fault that he couldn't get it out of the stand. So he wasn't happy. Sorry, Phil.
Okay.
Now, I've worked with him a few times after that where he was very nice. And he was nice to me that day before that. My girlfriend at the time was a big fan of his, and we sat down and ate dinner with him. He was very nice, but as soon as that happened, he was not nice. So he changed pretty quickly.
Yeah. Got to see another side.
Yeah. And Keith Urban opened up that show, too, so it was a good night. Anyways.
How does Keith Urban open up for Phil Vassar?
Well, this was back in the day. That's what I'm saying. This was the very first gig I had when I moved to Nashville. The very first gig I got. I thought it was probably going to be my last after that night. But it wasn't. I got to go on and work with some of these people again. Like Keith Urban. I worked with Keith Urban several times. I worked with Phil Vassar 3 or 4 times. One of them was up in Connecticut, which was pretty cool. It was at the casino there. So it was kind of my home area, home-ish.
Yeah.
A couple hours from my home. So it was nice.
Yeah.
Anywho.
That just sounds really peachy, Jay.
Thanks.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about country, what's going on in the country world, and specifically with Miranda Lambert. So she, I don't know, having a conversation, don't know where it came from exactly, but that Miranda Lambert says that she knows she has work to do to get into the Country Music Hall of Fame, acknowledging that it's a goal that she's been working towards. Lambert's name, I guess, has been mentioned frequently in discussions about being a future inductee, with some speculating she might be invited as a modern era artist.
She qualifies.
What are the qualifications?
You got to be in the industry for 20 years. So she qualifies. Whoa. I like the fact that her and Tim McGraw last week are self-aware enough to know that they're not ready. Like Tim McGraw was saying he feels he's a good performer but not a very good vocalist, where Miranda is saying she still has work to do to be considered Hall of Fame worthy. So I like the fact that they're self-aware to know that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know, but I do think she's talented.
Mm-hmm.
If she doesn't deserve it now, she will shortly. Especially if she continues. We were talking about the other day where she's getting ready to go back on the road again. She's got a new record label and getting ready to do some more work.
Yeah.
I would like to see it happen for her. I like her music.
Yeah. I do too. I like The House That Built Me a lot.
Yes, very good song.
It always makes me think of my childhood house.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
And she's also won, Grammys and CMAs. I mean, she's definitely...
Qualified?
Definitely, in my book, would meet the qualifications. But when I think Hall of Fame worthy, I get 20 years as a good benchmark, but you got to be towards the end of your career.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And she's not. She's clearly in the mid.
I think that when people do that, you got to think longevity. Even if she was another 10 years from now, if she got in 10 years from now, I think it'd still be perfect timing.
Oh, yeah.
She'd still
Agreed.
deserve it. Still be good timing.
Yep. Well, Miss Gwen Stefani performed at the AMAs on the 26th, Monday night, Memorial Day. And I guess everyone was getting all panties in a bunch that her performance was recorded. So the fans feel like they got gypped. They feel like they were, quote unquote, lied to. But I mean, she did 2 outfit changes. So they got a show. And it was some of their favorite songs. They were singing along. They weren't trying to figure out if she was really singing anyway. So who cares? It's an old trick in the book, right? Like everybody does that. Milli Vanilli, come on.
Well, that's a different story. I mean, they didn't even sing the song, but
Right?
she at least sang it at one point.
Right.
But what they're being accused of and criticized for is being a power couple in getting special treatment compared to the other people that performed. So I think that's why the fans are upset, or that's why people are upset. Now, I didn't see it. I don't know if it was real or not. There's a lot of that stuff is fake. When I say fake, pre-recorded or singing along to a track.
Right.
I mean, all those shows, every one of them does it. So I don't like it. You know, I'd like to see everything performed live, but in some cases you just can't do that. You know, especially when you're dealing with such quick changes, when you're dealing with bring one band on, bring another one off, and a whole different setup and all the different things. It's hard to keep everything live.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they filmed it, and then when they're playing that performance, they're setting up for the next thing that is live or live-ish, singing to a track or something.
Yeah.
Is it trickery? I don't think they did anything on purpose to mislead anybody. It's just part of the show.
Right. Agreed.
But I definitely don't think it's favoritism either. I mean, it's going to happen. If they got to put on a show of that size, something's going to have to happen. So if she was the one chosen to make that happen, she was probably the most cooperative person to do it.
I don't know. She looks like she has not aged a day. Like, come on already.
She's another one that's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
We've established not my type, but she's very pretty.
Yeah, I agree. She's very pretty. Well, Mr. Benson Boone was also in the news. He has a new tour out, American Heart, 29 dates that he's got on the calendar. And his tour sold out in 9 seconds. 9 seconds. And that was ahead of his new album release in
physically
June.
Possible? Think of all the telephones or internet sites that would have had to have gone off at one moment for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or do you think that was just, the resellers that just snatched them really quick?
I think it was a combination. Like American Express always has their little pre-sales.
Yeah.
So maybe it was like them plus the scalpers.
It's impressive, so I don't want to take that away.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, these days, some of that stuff is rough.
Yeah, I agree. And it makes it very, very, very expensive for...
Makes it not fun anymore.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. And nothing's worse than when you try to go to like Ticketmaster and get a ticket and then you realize you're really on some scammer site or something. Like, can we just have... I'm so tired of being scammed. I'm so tired of having to look at the, URL to make sure that it's real and all this stuff people can do with AI now. And it's like, oh, God.
Yeah. I miss being able to just walk up to the box office and buy tickets.
Mm-hmm. There was nothing cooler than when you got your tickets in the mail or you went up to the will call box and you got your physical tickets, That was the best, the ticket stub.
This is a big one for me. This is a big one for me for a particular reason. Royale Lynn is the artist. The song is 6 Feet Deep. I'll say that. Royale Lynn, 6 Feet Deep, just so I don't skip right over it again. Sorry, Maddie McCree on the couple episodes back when we skipped over your name and your song. But Royale Lynn, 6 Feet Deep, the reason why I think this is a good one, she's a young artist, and I think I mentioned last week when I said we were going to bring the song up that she comes across as if she's one of these artists doing everything on her own, but I think she has at least a small team behind her that was able to put something really good together and got her some big gigs and stuff coming up. And she's been traveling and performing with some known artists, big artists. However, when I worked in Nashville, 20 plus years working out of Nashville, and before that I was working 15, say 5 years out of Boston, 10 years out of New York, something like that. So when I was in Nashville, I was told I was too rockish for Nashville.
Oh.
And then when I would go back to the north, they say I was too countryish for the north. So I'm in the middle. I like hard rockin' music. I don't care if it's country or if it's rock. I just like hard rockin' music. Like you said earlier, music that has some sort of kick to it.
Yeah.
Well, Royal Lynn is a country artist, but she calls herself punk country, and it is a country metal song.
Okay.
So it's one of those things, if you ever have a song that you could look back on and say, oh, I wish I had done that one, this would be the one I would look back on and say, I would like to do that.
Yeah. Well, at first, when she first did her first few words, I was like, oh, Jay picked a country song? And then as you get into it, it's obviously not. I think punk country is a great way to explain it. Do not make fun of me. But I listened to it on the golf cart and I liked it because it sounded like the guitar was a little bit distorted almost. And I loved that. And then I listened to it again and it sounded a lot cleaner when I listened to it, not, buzzing through town. But I liked it both ways.
You can't start off by saying, don't make fun of me. I was listening to it while on the golf cart on my way to the boat.
I was not on the way to the boat.
Anyway.
I was on my way to the coffee shop.
You live a life that the rest of us do not, my friend. It's okay. We all aspire to be you.
It's not as bougie as you think it is. Anyways, so I liked the clean voice. I liked the clever lyrics. And like I said earlier, the one that stood out to me was, just because I'm a redneck don't mean I'm a train wreck. And, my roots are a little redneck. So, that resonates with me.
Again, I thought it was a very good song. It's one that my daughter Lucy, I played it for her. We were driving around somewhere. And I said, oh, check out this song. Tell me what you think. And she liked it. And she liked the fact that I liked it. So when we drive around now, she'll say stuff like to me, every time we're in the car, can you play this? Can you play this? Can you play this? Over and over. Just one song after another song. To the point where I'm like, dear God, give me a chance to start it. But she goes, I'll tell you what. She goes, you play your song. And I'm like, what song is that? And then she keep talking about this one. And I'm like, why that one? She goes, because I know you like it. I'm like, so you can then play your song? Is that what you're getting at?
Right.
Are you asking me to play it because you like it, or are you asking me to play it because it's a gateway to your song?
Well, Hannah was playing her songs, and I said, hey, I would like to listen to this song, and then you can go back to listening to any of your songs. And I think that it was 3 minutes of sheer hell for her. I loved it. I would have easily done it on repeat, and I think I will add it to my golf cart playlist so I can hear it again.
I just want to press all sorts of buttons. There's so many buttons that have yet to be pressed. I don't even know what they all do.
But yes, I really did like it, and I will listen to it multiple times after the recommendation. But I really liked it a lot. And I like a song that is easy to pick up to sing along to. And I liked that it was, it had your punk flair to it, or rock flair to it, but it had my, I don't know, easy ability to figure out what the storyline is and sing along. And I don't know, I really liked it a lot.
It is a
if you guys
country metal
have
song.
not heard it.
Yes.
Yeah. 6 feet deep.
6 feet deep. Royale Lynn. Check it out. It's definitely a good song. George, check it out. Let us know what you think. Earn your way back in, George. That's all I'm saying. George was actually here Monday night, so he did come back for his show. Okay. He's got some making up to do for you.
Yeah. Yep. Come on, George.
All right. So what do you got for me?
Well, the song that I'm going to recommend is Ghost of Us, and it is by an artist. She just goes by her first name, Jolie. And when we moved down to Florida, the town south of us is St. Augustine, Florida. And a lot of people know of St. Augustine, and it's supposedly the country's oldest town or whatever. And we went downtown St. Augustine, and I just hear like this voice of an angel. It just lured me in like a siren, right? We go listen to her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Sean, she was so awesome. So then the next time we're walking around, I'm like, oh, there's that voice again. I'm like, we got to find her. Where is she playing? And so multiple times we've been down in St. Augustine, and I hear her voice, and I just have to go. Like I can't explain it. Like I love her voice. She has been dubbed the voice of St. Augustine. She plays a lot every weekend or every week at a couple of different spots. You can usually catch her every week.
So are you recommending an indie artist tonight?
It is an indie artist.
Well, look at you. I'm impressed.
I know. And she just has a very soft falsetto voice. I don't know, but she does. I don't know how to explain it, but I really like her voice. And this song, I felt like there was a lot of desperation in her voice, which I personally liked. So I hope you guys take a chance to go pull it up. It is The Ghost of Us by Jolie, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Well, you want to talk about Boston again?
Sure. Boston. What do you got?
Okay.
I miss Boston.
We have touched on this before, but Mr. Conan O'Brien, he has the Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize for American Humor special that is now available on Netflix. So before we were talking about how it's coming up, and now if that made your ears perk up, you can go and check it out on Netflix. Yes. Okay.
No.
Oh,
Redhead from Boston. Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
We've said that before, but
yeah.
I don't know if people are aware of the background. Like, do you know all the story of where Conan came from or anything like that?
Nope.
He was
Feel free to enlighten me.
The head writer of Saturday Night Live for a long time. Like, before he got his talk show and stuff, he was the writer for Saturday Night Live.
I feel like he has such great stage presence that I'm surprised that they weren't ever like, hey, Conan, come on stage.
I don't know. When he started, I don't know if he had that presence to him. I'm sure he did.
True.
I mean, he's a funny dude.
Right?
But he also wrote for The Simpsons.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
He was doing stuff long before his talk show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he gets that kind of credit.
Yeah, he should.
Conan's a true legend when it comes to comedy.
Mm-hmm. No hope from ChatGPT either.
No, he's long before ChatGPT. Wait, we got word from George.
Charlie?
No.
Oh, George.
No.
George.
We're still waiting on the others, but George says he listened to the song. It was surprisingly strong, but he did not expect it. He did like the power of her voice, and he would recommend it. See that, George?
Yep.
All right. You've earned your way back in, George.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. He just showed his dedication.
Make sure you show up on time next week, George. George, I don't even know why he bothers coming back each week. It's for the abuse. Oh.
He likes us.
Anyways.
He's like, Mikey, he likes us. He really likes us.
Still think we need to make the next shirt. Who the hell is George?
Okay, Ilana Glazer, her special Human Magic, offers a candid look at motherhood and is streaming on Hulu. So maybe not one that you would relate to. Maybe more something a female would relate to.
I can't relate to being a mother. I've been called a mother quite a few times.
Not a mom like a mom. Mm-mm. No, sir.
I would still check out her show.
Yeah, you probably could find it funny.
I think it was known as more being a confessional.
Oh.
So I like that type of humor, so I'll check it out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's exciting.
A
I would check that
recommendation
out.
out in the wild, folks.
Okay, and then we have Ralph Barboza and Renee Vaca. And I'm going to tell you a little something. Okay. My middle name is Renee. And Renee.
Good to know. George, write that down.
Renee, in French, if you're a man, your name is spelled Rene. If you are a female, your name is spelled Renee. My name, middle name is spelled Rene, the male version of Renee.
Makes sense. Yeah. Why not? Your parents were right on track.
Well, my mom was carrying low and a slow heartbeat. And so
Tiffany,
they thought for sure it was
we
a
want
boy.
a boy. That's what that name is. Tiffany, we wanted a boy.
Yeah.
State.
And you got a girl.
Tiffany,
Yes,
we wanted
state.
a boy. State.
So these two, Ralph and Renee, are rising comedians. They are performing doubleheader show in New York following the Barbosa Top 10 Netflix special that has over 80 million YouTube views.
I do not know Ralph, but I have had a chance to see Renee's videos, and he is humorous.
I'll have to check it out.
And he's also a little risky, too. Not risky in the comedy way. He brought somebody up on stage and had somebody else choke them out, like put them to sleep on stage.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure that was not venue approved, but funny nonetheless.
A little pushing the envelope, if you will.
A little bit of push. What's going on with you?
Going on with me. I don't have a lot going on this week, but I thought I might share with you a float experience that I had.
You be very careful how you approach this.
So there's these pods that you can go into. They have basically like Epsom salt baths that you can lay in. And because of all the salt that they dissolve in the water, you're very buoyant. And so like you effortlessly float in these pods. And so for Christmas, Mr. Mason had gifted this to me and I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Because there's also like these salt caves that you can go into. And both ways, because of the amount of salt, it's supposed to be good for your body and it's supposed to be good for anxiety. And as we know, I may have it from time to time. So I was really excited about it. So before you go in, you have to watch this little video. And it says that sometimes people get nauseous from it. And, you know, if it persists afterwards, it could be a sign of like pancreatitis or something. And I was like, whoa, or something with your liver, maybe. Anyways, something with one of your organs. So immediately, you know, like I tweak out and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? I'm probably going to get sick. This is probably going to be awful. Oh my God. Blah, blah, blah. And so it just starts to spiral really fast, you know, and I'm like, nope. So I shut it down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. This is going to be fine. Now, when I get warm, I get lightheaded. I don't know if that's a problem or if that's a normal thing. I don't know, but I get like kind of dizzy or disoriented or something if I get too warm. So it's like this little room, like a doctor's office, if you can kind of imagine that, maybe like twice the size of a doctor's room when you go to see the doctor. And then there's this pod in there, and then there's like maybe a foot of water. It's not very deep. You get to pick your spa music, you know, for like meditation purposes and relaxation. The idea is that you're supposed to get very relaxed. Your brain waves are supposed to switch to this different frequency that is supposed to induce extreme relaxation and like, I don't really know, whatever. Okay. So I got my music. She gives me my little earbuds. And I was like, what are these for? And she was like, well, you wouldn't want the salt water to get into your ears, you know, the salt afterwards. And I thought, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Whatever. So I put them in. You can still hear the music, which I was surprised about. So I feel the water and I'm like, ooh, it's kind of warm. I was like I take cold showers. Okay. Like I don't even, during the winter, I take a hot shower, but during summer, like the minute we get past like
We are learning
75.
so much about you.
Yeah, I take cold showers. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't really enjoy hot tubs. I don't really enjoy like when you go get a massage and the table's hot. I don't like any of that. I don't like it. That's why I thought when we first moved to Florida, I was like, ugh, I don't know if I'm going to make it in Florida. I don't know if I can live down here. I told Sean I would try. I'm like, I will give it like a year and I will try. But if I don't like it, we're going to have to move. But I absolutely love it. Praise Jesus for air conditioning. Okay. So
now
I get in there.
Golf carts and yachts. And you live a whole different life. You're talking about salt
Not
baths
yachts.
They're
They're not yachts. Anyway.
redneck yachts.
Redneck yachts. So I go in there, I start floating, and afterwards I was like, hey babe, I did the float. And he was like, how did it go? And I was like, it was kind of stressful. So there was this roller coaster. So it's an hour which I was like, oh my God, can I do an hour? Can I lay here for an hour? It's like, I don't know if I can do this. So I'm laying there and it's really weird. It's so supportive. I literally felt like I was laying on a bed and I'm a side sleeper. So I was like, ooh, I want to turn to my side. And then I was like, oh no, but I'm in water. I'm not actually like on the surface. So that was really weird. Then I got super warm. Thank God there's this little intercom. So I pushed the little intercom. I'm like, so like I'm hot in here. And she was like, yes, open the pod doors. So there's these little doors that you can open that open to the rest of the room. And then little side trick, if anybody doesn't know this, if you do get warm and you need to cool yourself off, if you put the inside of your wrist on something cool, it will cool your body. So they were talking about all these different positions, how you could lay in the water. One of them was surrender, which is your hands over your head. Well, when you do that, you expose your wrists and there's a little breeze over your wrists because they were wet, right? So, okay, so I'm starting to cool off. Okay, I'm going to make it. Everything's okay. And then I'm like, I'm just going to get out. I'm just going to get out. And I'm like, Tiffany, you're only in a foot of water. Nothing scary is happening. And then I get myself really relaxed. So they tell you that you will maybe drift a little bit within the pod. And so I'm laying there and all of a sudden, like maybe my pinky nail just barely touches the edge. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right there. I'm right on the edge. Then I felt fine. Then all of a sudden I was like, I'm spinning. I know I'm spinning. So I opened my eyes like all on alert. And it was just this constant roller coaster of like, I'm going to lose it, to like, I was so relaxed that I could feel myself like twitch. And then I would get all crazy about something like, I'm too hot. I'm going to get nauseous. I'm going to be lightheaded when I get out of here. I'm not going to be able to drive home. And then like I would talk myself out of it. So I thought I would share my float experience if anybody has wondered about this. And the good news is Mr. Mason got one for some reason, and he would never use anything like that because he cannot relax for more than 5 minutes. So he can't do an hour. But it was a good experience, and I forced myself to stay the whole hour because I was like, no, I want all the benefits. So I'd be like, out with bad thoughts, in with good vibes, out with bad thoughts, in with good vibes. It was
learning way too much.
Whole thing. Oh yeah, it was quite the roller coaster. So Sean was like, how was it? He was out of state when he asked me. So I said, it was hot. And then when he came home, he asked me and I gave him all the details of the roller coaster of emotions. But I think the next one I can go and like actually relax because I already know I can do it. And you know, that is the one thing I would say with anxiety is like, whatever scares you, just keep doing it. Because like, what was I really afraid of? A foot of water? I could sit up at any point.
No, thank you. None of that sounds like fun to me. Not the way you're describing it anyway.
No. I'm sure I did not make it appealing to anybody just now.
No, it seems like something I might like, but no, after you described it, nope, I'm good.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. It was a hot mess for me. But I'm excited to go back and do it again. And I feel like this time I can be more present because I'm a fantastic meditator.
Not in any sort of dirty sort of way or anything, but are you wearing clothes or are you naked?
Yes, you wear your swimming suit. I was going to say that and I was like, maybe I don't need to say that. But yes, you wear your swimming suit. I mean, they didn't tell me to, but in the video, the chick's wearing a swimming suit, which I suppose it would be inappropriate to show a video where she wasn't. But they do not ever tell you need to put a swimming suit on. So I suppose you could do it naked.
So it is a private room.
Right. You can lock the door. I did not lock the door because I was like, if I get too hot,
You're running.
I want someone to come in here and get me. Or if I think I'm going to get sick, I need a quick exit. Naked or not. But no, I have my swimming suit on.
You don't want to get sick in a pod.
It's like pooping in the pool, right?
Oh.
It's not good.
Taking a left. All right. I'm moving on.
Yes, please.
This past Monday when George showed back up, we had Awaiting Abigail on the show. We had James and Abigail. They came on. They talked about their band and the success they're having at such an early stage. They're actually getting ready to go out to L.A. to perform with L.A. Guns. So that'll be a good show. And George says, ha, ha, ha. But yes, they were very nice people, and their music is pretty cool. If you're into bands like Evanescence and that style of music, I think you would like Awaiting Abigail.
Okay.
What I found the most unique, I guess, about this band is Abigail, 19, just turned 20. And
oh, wow.
the oldest person in the band, 62. So the span is from 1920 to 62. And then there's a father-daughter in the band as well. The father being 62, the daughter being in her 30s.
Okay.
And then everybody else in the band is probably in their 40s to 50s. So
okay, that's cool.
Definitely a span of age.
Well, you did say that the singing portion is a young person's game.
Yes.
So I would imagine it's the 18-year-old Abigail, and is she the front singer?
Yeah, she's 20 now, and she is the singer. Definitely amazing. Definitely has a very good voice. George says she's a powerhouse. Yeah, she is a powerhouse. She can sing for sure. Like I said, young girl, but she doesn't come across as young. She comes across as kind of an old soul. So she fits in with the older people in that band. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. They've committed to a couple more years. So we'll see how it goes after those couple more years. I'm anxious to see what they have in their future because their style of writing, everything they do is unique. They don't do anything traditionally. So James he comes from a music education background where he's teaching people music. And Abigail comes from a theater background. She's very theatrical. So anyways, the first few songs that they did, they did a 4-song demo as a band before they had the singer. And then she came on and actually wrote lyrics and melodies to their music, and it turned out to be very good. Then they took a couple songs that she had done, but she had done them in a more pop format, and they kind of gave it a little bit more of a rockin' edge to it. Turned them into, good rockin' songs that fit the rest of their songs. So now that gave them 6. And then when they went in to finish their album, they went ahead and did true collaboration as a whole. They wrote the songs together. So I'm anxious to see how all those songs blend together and it works out. But they were a very, very good band, and I'm excited for not only what they've got going on, but the opportunities they have in front of them. They're playing with Lillian Axe and, like I said, LA Guns. So they've got some big opening spots coming up. So I'm excited. Worth checking out.
She probably has the powerhouse voice because if she is theatrical, I mean, a lot of that is projection and a lot of ballads. So that would make sense.
She has that theater background, and she's also into film. So I wouldn't surprise me if she starts getting into directing their videos as well as doing some film work in the future.
That's fun that she gets to kind of pursue 2 passions.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 honorable mentions this week. I don't know if you're familiar with David Ortiz, otherwise known as Big Papi.
Nope.
David Ortiz, otherwise known as Big Papi, was a big baseball player. I think he won 3 World Series with the Red Sox. He was their first baseman, but he was known as a designated hitter. He was a powerhouse.
Okay.
But he has become the owner of the Red Sox.
How cool is that?
The team that he loved and played for. And he's foreign. I don't know what nationality he is. But Boston claimed him as their own and treated him like family. And he never wanted to leave. And then he turned around and he became the owner of the Red Sox.
Wow.
Very, very cool.
That is very, very cool.
That's honorable mention number 1.
The fact that they are saying Papi makes me think some kind of, Latino, Spanish, Mexican connection there. And I feel like they have such loyalty to their families. So if you're saying that Boston, treated him like family, then he probably felt a ton of loyalty to where he got to be famous, make his money, and wanted to stay.
Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
The DR.
David Ortiz,
DR, as
Big
people call
Papi,
it.
Dominican Republic, first baseman, designated hitter, 3-time World Series champion, now owner of the Red Sox.
Very cool.
It is very cool. I'm very proud of him. Not that I had anything to do with it, but I'm happy for him, I guess is the better choice of words. I'm very happy for him. Another one that I had nothing to do with, but is kind of cool as well, is Tom Brady. We all know Tom Brady. He has somehow become a household name. But he is now back in New England, and he will be managing the New England Patriots.
I think that's what happens when you marry a supermodel.
Is that what it is? I don't think the supermodel is what kept him word of mouth.
No, but it definitely helps.
You think so?
The fact that he's quarterback, I know, but
What's her name?
Giselle.
Son of a bitch, you got it. Okay. I didn't think you would.
Giselle Brady. Although I think they're divorced now, right?
I think they are, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Anyways, very cool for him, too, to go back to Boston and New England, become manager of the Patriots.
Look at these Bostonians. I mean, pumping out athletes and musicians, rock bands.
Yeah.
Dang. Boston's got it going on.
There you go. I'll take that. I mean, neither one of them are from Boston, but they played in Boston.
You came out of Boston.
No, that's true. That is true. I did.
I mean,
and get this, my family's from New York, but I born and raised in Boston.
Oh.
So, I was born on the right side of the tracks.
And we're getting our comedians out of there. Like,
Boston is known for comedians. All the good ones. Jay Leno's from Boston.
I know we've talked about it before.
Dane Cook is from Boston.
We talked about that. Yep.
And we talk about Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When I used to do stand-up, my tagline was just another comedian from Boston.
Oh. That's clever.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. Try to be clever.
Did you do anything fun for Memorial Day?
For what?
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Did I do anything
Memorial Day.
I don't think I did anything exciting. Just stayed home. We don't have a yacht. We don't have a golf cart to get to our yacht. Okay. We don't float in the salt water. I mean...
Well, we did take the boat out, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is, actually two things, actually. So we're just part of the boat membership, like I told you. So we just take the boat out, have fun with it, bring it back. They store it, insure it, do all the things. So we take the boat out. We have super fun. Preston starts looking a little red. I'm like, Preston, you might want to put some sunscreen on. He's like, whatever. He's 24, invincible still. And his mother burns. Okay. Like I like to burn pretty good. I don't like to, my body does. I'm Irish. We've learned in the last couple of years.
Nice.
Anywho, so Irish people burn. Okay. Preston, descendant of me. And he also has Irish blood and he burns, it turns out. He normally tans, but this particular day, the way that the boat reservation works for a holiday is we could only have the boat for half of a day. So 1:30 our time was up. We went out early. It's hot here early, so it was no problem. We had a blast. We were not cold at all. We go to rev up the boat and the engine will not turn on. And we're getting like an error message or whatever, like a beeping sound. And so we're like, gosh, I don't know. And the boating community is amazing. Like also another thing you have to keep eye on is the tide. Literally, if you forget to, if your boat is anchored at like a sandbar and you don't pay attention to the tide, your boat can get stuck there. And then you're stuck there for 4 hours till the tide comes back up. Okay. Because the tide changes every 6 hours. Okay. So we're sitting there and we realize, we had, oh God, I don't even want to say this because you're going to just make fun of me more. We had rented or taken out whatever, made a reservation for this double-decker pontoon boat that had a slide that went off of it, right? And so other people that were there, they were like, can we go off your slide? Can we go off your slide? And we're like, yeah, go for it. So then they were jumping off the top of the boat and it was very fun. Okay, so those same people, though, were like, oh, what's going on? You can't get your boat started? What's going on? So everybody rallies and everybody's like, try this. And a couple of people had jumper kits for the batteries. Turns out the battery was fine. Then this guy, this angel appears and he's like, oh, I work on boats. That's my job. That's what I do every day. So he gets on the boat. We're calling our boat membership people. They're not picking up the phone. So we're thinking A, don't you want your boat back? And B, it's Memorial Day weekend. Don't you think you should be answering your phone? So we're stranded in this super cool area, but we can't even have fun because really we're supposed to be leaving. All that to say, Preston is holding the boat up. I held the boat up for 45 minutes. And then I said, hey, Sean, can we throw the anchor out in the back? So because of the tide going in and out and where we were, it's very strong tide. So you need an anchor on the front and the back of the boat. So we had taken them up because we were going to leave. Now this is 45 minutes in. I'm like, can we please put the anchor down? So I'm done holding the boat. I've had sunscreen. Preston like takes over for his mom, which was very cute and very sweet that he's like, I got this, mom, let go, whatever. But then like the rest of the time he wanted props that he had been holding the boat for 45 minutes. It wasn't that hard to hold it. I had already done it for 45 minutes. This kid though proceeded to get more and more burnt. By the time we got home, like he couldn't like even just like to touch his skin hurt. And so the next day I was like, hey, Preston, how's that sunburn? He's like, I am glowing like a fire truck. I was like, I bet you are. I bet you are. So when we go out on Father's Day, I'm sure he will use some sunscreen.
All right. I'm going to take us home.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's land this plane.
Somehow we've missed the top of the hour. We've reached the bottom of the hour, which does mean, well, we've reached the end of the show. If you've enjoyed the show, please tell a friend. If you have not,
tell 2.
Tell 2,
or
tell
3.
3, 4, whatever it takes. You can reach out to both of us over at jfrenzy.com. We will be happy to keep this conversation going. Maybe not this one, but we will keep some conversation going for sure. You can also reach out to us on the socials. We would love to talk to you. Please feel free to communicate with us. Miss Tiffany, my friend, what final words do you have for us this week?
Yes, for our crew out there, keep chasing the rhythm. Your sound matters.
On that note, folks, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to The Jay Franzi Show. Make sure you visit us at jfranzi.com. Follow, connect, and say hello. This episode has been brought to you by VR Knives, your source for 100% custom knives made by a true rock star. So, if you're in the market for a new piece of art, reach out to VR Knives. 407-421-5528. 407-421-5528.